morning, boys and girls. This is just a quick video to help you review factors and multiples, which we've been reviewing some in class and that we did learn the first 9 weeks. So just to recap, what is a factor? Well, a factor is a number that you multiply with another number to get something called a product. Okay, if we look here, 2 of the factors of 20 are 5 and 4 because 5 times 4 equals 20. So to organize our factors, we always like to organize them making T-charts. We can use a multiplication chart to help us find factors. And when we can find the factors of a number, we can answer all kinds of questions, like how many factor pairs does a number have, how many factors does a number have, and we can determine if a number is prime or composite. So here's an example that I did. I tried to find all the factors of 18. So I'm looking for all the numbers that multiply together to get to 18. Well, when we're finding the factors, we always start with 1 times itself because 1 times anything equals itself. So one group of 18 is 18. We don't need a multiplication chart for that. All right, then we think about our 2's tables. Well, since 18 is an even number, 2 is going to be a factor. We can always check on our chart to see what that other factor pair is. So if we look, 2 times 9 equals 18, so the next factor pair is 2 times 9. Then we would naturally go to our 3's tables. So if we look at our 3's tables, 3 times 6 is 18, so that would be the next factor pair. Pair like a pair of shoes. Well, then we would move to our 4's tables. Since nothing times 4 equals 18, we would move to our 5's. Nothing times 5 equals 18, and I know that already because all multiples, when I skip count by 5s, end in 5 and 0 anyways. And since 18 doesn't end in a 5 or a 0, it wouldn't be in the list. If I look at my 6 tables, I see, oh yeah, 6 times 3 is 18. But since I already put 3 and 6, I wouldn't put 6 and 3 again because they're the same factors, so I know that I'm finished because I've started to repeat myself. So based on that T-chart, I know 3 things. The first thing I know is that there are 1, 2, 3 factor pairs because a pair, like our pair of shoes, is a set of 2. A pair is a set of 2. Now, if a question asks you for how many different factors does a number have, well, this number has the factors 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. So that is a total of 6 different numbers. So we say 18 has 6 factors. Now, knowing the factors of a number help us determine if a number is prime or composite. So let's review prime and composite. If a number is prime, P-R-I-M-E, the only factors are 1 and me. So if you make a T-chart for these numbers, the number 2, the number 3, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47. And I stopped there because in 4th grade, we only go to 50 finding the factors of a number. All of those numbers highlighted in green are called prime numbers. A prime number has only 1 factor pair. It has only 2 factors. So if we find the factors of the number 11, we'll find that we only have 1 times 11. Therefore, we call this number prime, P-R-I-M-E. Only factors are 1 and me. All of the other numbers fall into this second category, composite numbers. Now, the reason I like to clap out composite is 1, it has 3 syllables, and I like to use that to remind my brain that it has at least 3 factors. Composite numbers are numbers that have more factors besides 1 in themselves. They have more than 1 factor pair. So if we look at our number 18 in our example, 18 would be a composite number because it has more than 1 factor pair. It actually has 3 factor pairs. So when you're finding the factors of a number, if there is any other number that multiplies together to get the same product, it is a composite number. All right, I'm going to do a few examples to help you guide you through this and help you using a multiplication chart. So the question says, what are all the factors of the number 20? So to find all the factors, I'm going to go in order. I'm going to make a T-chart since I'm finding the factors. And I'm going to start with 1 times 20. 1 times 20 is 20. All right, then I'm going to think about my 2's tables. Well, since 20 is an even number, I know it's going to be in my 2's tables. Oh, 2 times 10 is 20. So that is my next factor pair, going in order. Then I'll look at my 3's tables. Well, if I look, oh, there's nothing times 3 that equals 20. It goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Since it skips over 20, nothing times 3 equals 20. So now I'm going to go to my 4's tables. Well, if I look, 4 times 5 equals 20. So I'm going to add that to the list, 4 times 5. Well, naturally, if I go to my next number, 5, it's going to be 5 and 4, which I had just put right here, so I know I'm finished. I have found all the factors. So now I can answer any of the questions below. Well, how many factor pairs? 1 pair, 1 times 20, 2 pairs, 2 times 10, 3 pairs, 4 times 5. Well, how many factors? Well, if I list these factors, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20 are all factors of 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different factors. Now, is this number prime or composite? Well, prime, P-R-I-M-E, only factors are 1 and me. Well, 20 has 3 factor pairs. It doesn't have just one in itself, so this is composite. Composite. All right, let's look at another example. Find all the factors of the number 35. So I'm going to put 35 at the top, and I'm going to start with 1 times 35. Always start with 1 in itself. Next, I'm going to think about my 2's tables. Well, all multiples of 2, okay, are even numbers. Since 35 is an odd number, I know 2 will not be a factor of it, so there's no need to look at the chart. But say I didn't know that. If your number doesn't go, because you see the 2's end at 24, if it doesn't go up as high as you want it to, just continue your chart. 26, we're skip counting by 2's. 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. Skips right over 35, so nothing times 2 equals 35. So now I'm going to look at my 3's tables. Well, if I look at my 3's, 33, 36, skips over 35. It's going to look at my 4's. Nope, skips over 35 again. My 5's, yes. 5 times 7 is going to be 35. 5 times 7. So automatically, I know this is a composite number, okay? So if I go back and look at my 6 tables to make sure I have all the factors, nothing times 6 is 35. It skips over it. And then in my 7's tables, 7 times 5 is 35. So since I already put 5 and 7, I wouldn't put 7 and 5 again, so I know I'm all done. So how many factor pairs does this have? 2 pairs. How many factors? 4 factors. 1, 5, 7, and 35. Don't forget about 1 in itself. All right, I'm going to do one more of these for you. What are all the factors of the number 17? Okay, well, I know I start with 1 times itself. Well, since 17 is not an even number, I know 2 is not going to be a factor. So now I'm going to pick up with my 3's tables. Okay, look at my 3's, skips over 17. Look at my 4's, it skips over 17. Look at my 5's, skips over 17. My 6's, it skips over in my 7's, my 8's, my 9's, my 10's, okay, my 11's, and my 12's. there is nothing else I can multiply except for 1 and 17 to get the number 17. Therefore, it only has one factor pair. It has two factors, 1 and 17. Therefore, this is a prime, P-R-I-M-E. Only factors are 1 and me. Okay? So when we learn about factors, we also learn about multiples. Okay? A multiple is the result of multiplication. We can skip count to find multiples of a number. Multiples are on your multiplication chart. Your multiplication chart is a list of multiples. These are the multiples of 1, multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, the multiples of 3, 4s, 5s, and so on. This is just a snapshot of all of the multiples because multiples go on forever. It's just skip counting by a number, and since numbers don't end, multiples do not end. So if we're asked to find the multiples of a number, we're going to do a few examples together. It says, from the list below, select all the multiples of 10. Well, multiples are, again, not like factors, they're skip counting. So if we were to skip count by tens, I want to see the numbers I would find. Well, if I skip count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, count it up pretty far. Let's see what falls into that list. Well, 30 does, 50 does, and 90 does. A cool thing about the multiples of 10 is that they all end in zeros. Okay, they all end in zeros. So let's do one more of those. Remember, multiples, just skip counting. We can find them very easily on our multiplication chart. It is literally a chart of multiples. So let me come down here. I'm going to check my answer. Oh, I missed one. There was 100 at the bottom. Okay, so now I'll go to the next one. This one says list all the multiples of 4. Okay, well, multiples, again, are skip counting. So if I skip count by 4s, that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Okay, so if I look down here, what falls in that list? Well, 8 falls into that list. 12 falls into that list. 24 falls into that list. 36 falls into that list. Let's make sure there's nothing down here. Nope, that's all. And so that is the correct answer. Multiples, again, my multiples of 4 I could also get right here, are all on the multiplication chart. So one more thing I want to go over, and then I'm going to end this video. I accidentally skipped this question. It says, what are the common? And common means same. Like, what do you have in common with someone? It's a quality that's the same. So what are the common factors of the numbers 28 and 40? Well, if I'm going to find the common factors of two numbers, I have to find the factors of both numbers. So I'm going to find the factors of the number 28. So I'm going to make a T-chart, and the factors of the number 40. Because a factor is a number that you multiply with another number to get a product. So factors of 28. Well, I know always start with 1 times 28. Well, then I'm going to think of my 2's. Well, I know 28 is an even number, so something times 2 is 28. If I look on my chart, it goes all the way up to 24. Ooh, I'm really close. So if I go up again, 26, and again, 28. So if 2 times 12 is 24, then 2 times 13 would be 26, and 2 times 14 would be 28. So I know if I continue my chart, 2 times 14 is 28. Well, then I'm going to look at my 3's. No, skips over 28. Look at my 4's. Yes. 4 and 7 is 28. Now, no need to look at my 5s because all multiples of 5 end in a 5 or a 0. So I'm going to look at my 6s. No, skips over. Oh, my 7s. 7 times 4. So since I already put 4 and 7, I know I'm finished with that. I'm all done. So now I just need to make sure I get all the factors of 40. Well, 1 times 40. Oh, 40 is also an even number. So 2 is going to be a factor of 40 as well. Well, I could keep going like this. 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. And if you skip count out, this is times 15, 16, this is times 17, 18, 19, 20. 2 groups of 20 is going to be 40. Okay, and we know that from when we learned about multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4, tack on a 0, 40. So that's another way you could have gotten there. All right, let's think about our 3's tables. Well, our 3's tables don't go all the way up to 40. So we need to continue that chart on the 3's as well to check. So our 3's end at 36. So if we go up 3 more, that's 39. 3 more is 42. Oh, skipped right over 40. So 3 is not a factor of 40. Let's look at our 4's tables. Oh, yes, brilliant. 4 times 10 is 40. So I'll add that to my list, 4 times 10. And now I'll move on to the 5's tables. And I know that 5 is going to be a factor because it ends in a 0. 5 times 8 is 40. Once you work with these more and more, you'll start learning the patterns and factors that will become very simple. Okay, so we look at the 6's, nothing times 6. Look at the 7's, nothing times 7. Ooh, looking at the 8's, 8 and 5. We already put 5 and 8. We are all done. So now we can answer the question. What are the common or the same factors? Well, if we look at both lists, they both have a 1. They both have a 2. They both have a 4. They don't both have a 7. They don't both have a 14. And they don't both have a 28. So the common factors are 1. It's supposed to be a comma. There we go. Let me make that look more like a comma. 2 and 4. So 28 and 40 have 3 common factors. All right, please watch this video again if you need to before taking your assessment.